Hello, my name is Bryant Hansen. I'm a member of the class of 2021 Wayne State School of Medicine. And this is a short video on how to use tablets like this Microsoft Windows Surface Pro to take notes in medical school. There'll be a short other video for Apple-related products, also so that those that do not know which of the products that they want to buy can see how to use both of the different systems and compare the features of both of them. So to start off, simply go on Blackboard or to whichever website that Wayne State is using at the time and navigate to the class that you wish to get the course pack for and download the course pack like normal. It's usually in the course materials section. And this will download it to your tablet. Now, one of the issues that we currently have is that when they download, they are currently locked to students. This has to do with a copyright issue, and we're trying to work around it. But in case it's not fully worked around by next year, there's one extra step that you will have to do that'll make it work just fine. This is a website called smallpdf.com. Go to the website, simply hit Unlock PDF, and it'll bring up a new screen that has a box in which you can drop a PDF to. Simply find your course pack, drag it over, and it'll upload to the website where you'll be able to pinky swear and re-download in an unlocked version. No crossing fingers when you pinky swear. Once this has been done, you'll be able to open up the new course pack, and you'll be able to print to OneNote or print to a computer in a way that will help you be able to organize your lecture notes far easier. One of the biggest things in medical school to keep your life easy is to organize things well so that it is easy to navigate between lectures, be able to find information, and just keep things overall simple for you. So once you have course pack pulled up like this, you'll have a table of contents. This is our neuroscience course. And you'll be able to hit File, Print, and this is going to be able to send it to OneNote so that we have it outside of this PDF so that we can easily take notes on the program. Make sure that printer is set to send to OneNote. Click Pages. And then we will be printing off the meninges and ventricular system and cerebrospinal fluid by Dr. Goebel. As we can see, this lecture starts on page 29. And the next lecture starts on page 45. Click this left arrow just to make sure that you are on the correct first page of the lecture that you intend to be. And if you are, navigate to the very last page and make sure that the number on the top, or maybe on the bottom, at least for the number of the lecture pages, corresponds to the end of the lecture that you wish. Then simply hit Print. This is going to send it to OneNote, where we'll be able to put it with the rest of our notes. As you can see, this will now ask me which of my notebooks that I wish to send it to. As this is a neuroscience and it's in the Unit 2, I will simply select Unit 2 and hit OK. This will insert the lecture as a new printout. As you can see, it says printout in the bottom. Simply press and hold, and it will bring up a kind of what would otherwise be a right click if you were on a desktop computer. Hit Rename, and you can rename the lecture to whichever you wish. I usually like to have something relatively short because I like to have all of my lecture tab here as small as I can get it so that I have plenty of space to work with my notes. So I usually like to have something that's a little bit summed up, like TBI for traumatic brain injury. Once this is done, you can see that we have all of our lectures here lined up, which is going to be very easy for you to be able to navigate between. What I will also do is I will have, for a multi-unit class like neuroscience, I will have the units up here as new sections. As neuroscience also has exercises, I have a separate page for the exercise, or separate section, excuse me, for all the different exercises right next to the unit. To pull up a new section, simply hit the plus button, and this will start a new section. You can rename it to whatever you wish. Between different classes, I usually like to have them all in different notebooks. As you can see, I've got biochemistry and physiology. To add a new one, simply hit Add Notebook, and you can name it whatever you wish. One problem that will occasionally come up, and this might be something that is specific to my tablet, but if it stops asking you where you want to send the specific lecture, simply navigate to Options, Send to OneNote, and then down here where it says Other Content, print to OneNote, and make sure it says Ask Where to Send. Occasionally, it will decide that you always want it to send to a specific class, and it will automatically send there. I find it easiest to come in here and change that manually. Now that some of the organization is taken care of, let's talk about some of the ways that I usually use OneNote to actually take notes and read through course packs. As you can see, we have all the different course packs in the different units. I can navigate easily to the basal ganglia and read through. The rest of it will function just like a normal tablet, where you can use your finger to move up and your pencil is going to write, and the other end of it is going to erase. This is a very handy feature that is specific to Surface Pros and Windows-related products. Is Apple Pencils, you have to do one extra step in order to erase. In order to write, simply write as you wish. If you wish to change the color, move up to the Draw tab and change color. If you wish to highlight, hit the Draw tab again, and you have these different highlighting options. One of the easy features of being able to use an electronic course pack over an actual paper course pack is the search function. This is very handy when you have a question or you can't remember what something is in a new lecture and you wish to find what it is. So I'm going to simply put in something that is specific to one of the neuroscience lectures, the caudate. It's an area in the brain. And what this is going to do is that it's going to bring up all the different areas in which caudate is mentioned in the course packs. This will actually also look in all the other classes in case something is found in a different class, and you also want to review it there as well. As you can see, this found it in genetics as well. I can look through here, and this is on the left will tell me which lecture it's in. And over here on the right, it'll tell me which class or notebook that's in, and then which section that it's in. In this case, Unit 1. As caudate is part of the basal ganglia, I will look at the basal ganglia lecture, and then I can hit Find on Page at the top here. And it'll show me that I've matched 1 out of 15 areas. I can simply hit the down arrow to find which of the areas that it wants that has the explanation that I wish. As you can see here, I have written in caudate, and it has also found my writing of caudate, which is a very handy, useful feature. As some of these exercises, there is still exercises in the neuro part, you'll be writing down a lot, and you can easily go and find where it's located on one of the cross sections. Now, in terms of actually writing out course pack, some people like to write out course pack. Some people like to write out just the important parts of course pack or the hard to remember parts of course pack. There's several ways to do this. As you can see, my first pass, I usually like to write just in the right section, right side of the course pack, within the single window of OneNote. This keeps everything right next to itself, and I can see little notes that the lecturer went through as I was watching the lecture. Other options, when I'm not watching the lecture, is that you can drag it all the way to the left, which will pin the window just to the left side of the screen. There's two other ways that I like to study. One, especially with anatomy, where you have a lot of different artery trees and nerves that you have to go through, is that I like to use paint. And this will bring it up so that I have both of them next to each other so that I can take any arteries from here and make an artery tree over here. This is especially useful because the arteries in anatomy will come from multiple different lectures, and this lets you take information from different lectures and put it into one easy paint file that you can then rewrite later and learn them very easily. Another way to do this is to use two different OneNote screens. Simply press and hold on the OneNote icon in the bottom, select OneNote again, and it'll bring up a second window of OneNote. Drag it to the side, and you can either open up a new section and rename it as rewriting or whatever you wish, and you can even organize all the different pages corresponding with the different lectures, and then you can have both sides of your rewriting and the lecture there. I usually find it best to rewrite in the single window, and then for anything that I want to rewrite later, I will make different paint files. If there's specific bits of information that are best used with a graph that I have to make myself, then I'll oftentimes make a separate paint file for that lecture with a graph that I make myself with all the information in there. This lets me rewrite it very easily, and I can go through it when I'm studying for the exam. One of the other useful features when you're writing things down is that you can also convert your actual written information to a text information. If your penmanship is very poor, like mine is, you can simply go up to here to draw, and then select the Ink to Text button. As you can see, I clicked right below what I want to convert. I put my finger on the circle, drag it around, make sure you get all of what you want, and then select Ink to Text, and it'll change it to text. This is nice for if you have to share information with your friends and they can't read your handwriting. One of the other ways I like to study, especially for neuroscience and anatomy, is to quiz myself. As you can see, we have all these different cross sections, and just reading through them is not very time useful, I find, for studying them. As you can see, when I first put it into OneNote, it put them into the normal non-landscape orientation, which is not exactly helpful, as you can see, as everything is sideways. To deal with this, simply tilt your tablet over, select all the way to the bottom right, and then click the screen lock. You can then put it back, and everything's oriented as you wish, or upside down. In case you don't like to write upside down, simply tilt it the other way and re-screen lock. One of the very useful features of the Surface Pro's pen that you have here is that you can actually have several different buttons. You can select what you want these different buttons to do within the options. I have my eraser button set up to bring up this Windows workspace. I can then take a screen sketch, which will screenshot everything that's currently on the screen, and then I can come up to here and select the size of the pen that I want to write with, and I can block out everything and quiz myself. This will not write on the actual note, which makes sure that nothing is erased that you don't want erased. As I go through and quiz myself through this, you can simply tap it with the eraser to reveal to make sure that you got the answer right. This is very handy for anatomy and things like neuroscience. When you're done with that section, simply hit the X, move the screen over, and repeat. Once you are done doing this, simply again, go down to the lower right on the window, hit unlock, tilt your screen, and you're back to business. One of the other small features that you can use, I find this a little bit too clumsy to use, but in case you have OneNote into the two-window mode, and you don't like to have all this extra space right here, one of the things that you can do is go up to View, Dock to Desktop, and it will move all of that extra information out of the way. This is a bit clumsy, and I can't really figure out how exactly to use this, but it's a useful feature if you're willing to put a little bit of time to figure it out. Thank you. I hope this helps just demonstrate some of the abilities that you have to use technology to study in medical school, keep things organized, and move along your study as best as possible. If you have any additional questions, don't hesitate to reach out to any M2s, and we'll be happy to help you find what works best for you to study, or with any other questions that you have.